It's the Sunday Morning Faith programme with me, June Woolerton, and this morning we're looking at how coronavirus, the outbreak of COVID-19, how that has affected faith communities right across our county. We heard earlier on about the continuing changes taking place in the Christian community. We're going to talk now to Sidra Naeem, who is a leading member of the Chelmsford Muslim community and a friend of the programme as well. Good morning to you, Sidra.
Good morning.
How is the Muslim community in Essex coping?
I think the biggest shock the Muslim community had really was when all the mosques closed down, and there had to be lots of life changes there because in Islam we pray 5 times a day. We also have our Friday prayers, which are very important. So because the mosques shut down, we had to continue all of those prayers at home.
And how is prayer taking place now, Sidra?
So either we're praying individually at the required times, or some people, what they're trying to do is to, within their own families, just praying together, which gives a nice kind of feeling, the same kind of feeling that you would get in a mosque, bonding with the family,
Because that communal aspect of prayer is very important, isn't it?
It is very important, and it is part of our daily routine. But we have adapted. But at the beginning, it was very sad. Everybody was very saddened when the mosques had to close down, because it's not just a matter of where we pray. It's also our community. We meet there, and that's where we meet other Muslims, and it's a place of where the community congregates as well.
How's the community keeping in touch with these changes?
Well, praying and things we're doing at home, and we have our calendars when we know when it's time to pray. Apart from that, the only other communication we've got really is social media. That's how we are keeping in touch with everyone else. And the news is very useful at the moment.
And we've heard a lot about different services being streamed. Is that something that the Muslim community's been able to do yet?
Not in Essex. That hasn't happened here where I'm living, unfortunately. But I think that's a great idea. I know the churches have been doing sermons and things over the internet and things, and that's, I think, a very good idea. But that hasn't happened yet. Not in the areas where we are. Perhaps in some of the larger mosques in London.
And is it something that the community in Essex has considered joining in with different parts of the country? As you said, London, Birmingham, other areas are maybe putting a focus on it. Is it something that the community would consider joining?
Definitely would be. We do use the Islam channel for calls of prayer. So there is a international channel, Islam channel, at the moment on Sky, which everybody's started to tune into for prayer, for the call to prayer. And then we're just congregating ourselves at the moment within our own families.
And how has it changed the way that the imam can keep in touch with the community?
I think that whoever's got their imam's personal phone number, they are still keeping in touch with him that way. Also, the local imams are on WhatsApp groups to do with the mosque. So there is, for example, for Chelmsford, there is a WhatsApp group, and the imams are on that WhatsApp group. So people can individually get in touch with him if they need to. There is a great need at the moment, I would say, for counselling and mentoring within the community, because my phone has not stopped ringing since the coronavirus issues have come around. I'm supporting many people every single day. Mental health is on the rise. As soon as the children are now at home, there's more problems, especially with some of the ladies who've got children who've got special educational needs, and they can't cope with them at home, because for them respite care was while the children were at school. So there's lots and lots of problems within the community. There's anxiety, huge anxiety out there as well, depending on what everyone's reading.
And looking to the future, Sidra, how do you think the community will adapt to these changing times?
I think think they are adapting already, and there's lots of online resources definitely going around within the Muslim community that is helping the parents of some children. For example, it's not just the prayers and the Friday prayers that have gone in the mosques. We have like Sunday schools that run in our mosques, and they've completely gone as well. So the children are completely out of touch with Islam. So there's lots of online apps, and some imams are actually Skyping how to read the Quran and things like that, which are going around. And the parents have adapted in that way so that their children can stay in touch with the Islamic faith.
Because it is so difficult for the children, isn't it, as well as for the adults?
It is, but I do feel parents need to calm down. I think there's a huge amount of anxiety which is being rubbed off onto the children. And I think we need to also adhere to the authentic websites like the NHS website, which is out there on coronavirus, because there's a lot of myths which are going around. We know that the coronavirus is more lethal really for the more vulnerable, for example, the elderly or people who have got other medical conditions, pre-existing medical conditions. But some mums think children are going to die as well.
It is a worry, isn't it? Because, as you said, there's so much information and it's wading through everything to find what is relevant. And I think that's great advice to always check the NHS website. And that's something that we say here on BBC Essex a lot as well, because that's got the most up-to-date advice. Sidra, how's it been affecting you? You've talked a lot about the work you're doing in the community. Obviously, it's putting extra pressure on you. How have you been bearing up?
Do you know, I haven't been. I haven't rested. I'm still feeding the homeless because government plans were not to shut down the homeless shelters, especially where the homeless are actually living. So I'm doing that as well. There's no restaurants or takeaways anymore. So all the Muslim community have actually got together now, and they're all cooking away every Friday. So we can feed the homeless. So that's affected me as well. My husband is triple busy at the moment because he's a doctor. So he is working some Saturdays as well. So it's affected me in that way because he's not around. So I'm really, really busy at the moment. But we all have to stay together. I think there's a lot more unity at the moment, which is great. The whole world is united at the moment, no matter what age we are, what colour we are, what race we are, what religion we are. This virus can affect us all. And that, in a way, has brought lots of good things because we're all united for a change and everybody's trying to support each other.
They are Sidra Naeem from the Chelmsford Muslim community. Thank you for joining us this morning, Sidra, a friend of the programme, and we will catch up with her in the weeks to come as well.
Travel news from BBC Essex.